red pill, blue pill, black pill, manosphere, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We're going to get into it today. We're going to be talking about some good, some bad, and some ugly fucking examples. Now, the one example that I'm going to be using, let's just say for ugly, ugly isn't always bad, but it's hard to get over. But let's get into it, man. Say less.
Well, what if you don't? What if you fly?
Sorry I can't be your man, but I can be your nigga, baby. Call me when you want me, and that's why I'll be there, baby. Told that bitch, on that jet, what it is, tell you what I'm on.
Now, let's start off with the good, because a lot of the people that I consider good actually are associated in the past with some of the examples that I would say are bad. But there's a lot of drama attaining to all of these channels combined. So we're going to dibble and dabble into that shit a little bit, and I'm going to try to explain my reasoning behind it. Let's go. Good examples of some content specifically made for young men. Red pill, manosphere, whatever you want to call it. I don't give a fuck about any of the terms. But first example is someone who's been on YouTube and they're OGs now for a long time, have multiple channels and have done their thing on all of them. They make great content no matter what they do. Is Playback, and that is with Mr. Legend of Winning and Mr. Agent Zero, and they make great commentary videos about news topics online that are taking place in current activities and all that. But they're great people, entertaining and funny. They're somebody that I'll click on every video they make because I always get some type of value from it, no matter what that is. The next person is Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. Now this guy, he makes great content, a lot of reaction videos, a lot of just talking and topic videos where he's just talking to his viewers and shit like that. But he makes a lot of videos with reactions, like I just said. And he always is coming at things from a perspective of helping young men and how it can affect them in a positive way. He's a very, very cool nigga, in my opinion, from what I've seen. He seems very genuine, and this is exactly why I will continue to watch him, and I don't mind trying to put him out there. Another example is somebody getting into a little bit more the niche side of it is Mr. Better Bachelor, aka Joker. Now this guy makes a lot of reaction videos on articles and stuff that happens online attaining to relationships and men and women and the relationships between both of them. And I feel like he does a great job in what he does. He really speaks his mind, and he is somebody who expresses his views. The content that he makes is very digestible in any circumstance. It's very entertaining, chill, and he gets his point of view across, and he keeps it moving. He gives his take on it, and it gives you some backstories sometimes here and there, but in the end, he gives his point of view and gets straight to the point. And he's a great guy, seems very genuine, and I've never seen him do anything out of character. I think that's a big topic today, getting out of character, because as you will see, that's what a lot of these people do. Jamari, he makes commentary and reaction videos on the same thing that Playback does, a lot of news topics and current situations that are taking place on the internet and in the real world. But he always gives his take and gives great insight on his point of view and how he sees it. I feel like he's a very level-headed individual as well, and he keeps the videos very short, concise, and to the point, and he makes great content. Now to get into the ugly before we get into the bad. This man, Kevin Samuels. Now I'm sure y'all have heard of this name because he's blown up in the past, I would say like year and a half, because he has gone viral multiple times about the shit that he says, because he's a very abrasive person. But the things that he's saying are very straightforward and to the point. And I feel like a lot of the shit that he says can be applied to the real world. And he's always came at it from a perspective of trying to help men and women, I guess you can say, in a relationship type of a way. But like I said, he does this in a very kind of abrasive and straightforward way, and his views are sometimes outlandish, but a lot of young men seem to relate to what he is saying and doing, and this is exactly why he's blown up. And he's actually had a lot of conversations with a lot of other creators and outside of the space, such as Nicki Minaj and Joe Budden and other celebrities, as well as women that actually watch his podcast and his live shows and stuff like that, as well as men. And then, like I said, he's very straightforward, to the point, and abrasive. But if you don't like what you hear, the shoe must fit. That's why I said it's ugly. It's hard to get over. But a lot of the shit that he says is true. So you really have to take what he says with a grain of salt. Hey man, you just gotta let that shit slide off the shoulder, because my man is doing what he's doing. Getting about, I'll say, almost nearly 1 million subs in about a year, which is crazy. My dog is doing his thing. But you gotta get over the ugliness of it. The first example I have for a toxic motherfucking example of the manosphere community is Donovan Sharp. Now, Donovan Sharp is an individual who has the ego the size of the fucking sun, and it burns down everything around him. I actually watched this cat probably about 3 years ago now, when he popped up on my homepage, and at first I was like, this is some entertaining content, but after you get further into it and you see the type of person he is, you can definitely see that he's just ugly. He's a weird fuck, and what he does is not helping men in any way, besides fucking people that are socially can't say that word. People that are socially inept. You feel me? Because his views are toxic as fuck, and he hates women, it seems, if I'm being real. And he tries to hide it behind this fucking, oh, blah blah blah, I'm helping men, this and that. But man, we can see straight through it. He has the ego the size of the sun. He thinks he's the fucking top tier fucking 1% alpha male because he has a fucking YouTube channel with probably like 100k subscribers. You can't even see anymore because my dog hit it. But he has had a lot of connections in this motherfucking industry, but he has ruined those because of his choices that he's made and his personality as a human being. And I have no remorse for somebody like him, because he's made the choices that have brought his own downfall and burned his own bridges. And at the end of the day, I think you should really look at the common denominator between all of those, because he always tries to blame it on other people or outside factors, and it's really just him. And this is coming from somebody who's watched his content and agreed with some shit that he said, but at the end of the day, I stopped watching him because I can't associate myself with somebody that toxic and hypocritical like he is. Not a good guy. Pass him if you see him. And on to the next. I think it's funny as fuck because these people, well, at least one of them, Myron from Fresh and Fit podcast, actually used to be like a very active viewer in Donovan Sharp's live streams and shit, and was actually one of the main reasons that he started a YouTube channel in the first place. Now, knowing that, I watched their content when they first started their channel, and I'm like, yo, this shit's entertaining as fuck. It's funny, but you can also see a lot of the views that Donovan had being portrayed in Myron, and it's just like, this whole community of Red Pill is just a bunch of toxic little fucks running around spewing the same fucking 4 goddamn terms and goddamn punchlines and quotes and shit, thinking that they're spitting the fucking next holy Bible type shit. Nigga, write it down, sell it, let's see who buys it, because this shit is not it. And while we're talking about the fucking toxic ass motherfuckers Fresh and Fit, let's get on the fact that they try to come for not only Abba and Preach, which are some of the realest motherfuckers in the fucking world, in my opinion, but they also try to come for basically the whole commentary reaction community because of their views being criticized. They're fucking babies. And I think they learned this from Mr. Donovan because he got accused of a lot of the same shit. And it's funny to see how they get stuck in this cycle of fucking, oh, we didn't mean to do this, and taking back what they said. When if you really stood behind what you did and say, you wouldn't have to even worry about any of that. But they're fake. And then they have to try to go run around doing cleanup and shit when they did something wrong. It's freedom of speech. You can't shut down somebody's freedom of speech because you saying it's opinion on your copyright when people are reacting to the content and the opinions that you have that you made public. And this was a big thing that made me stop watching them. I don't give a fuck how entertaining they are. I can get my entertainment other places. Like I said, it's not worth it once you see somebody's true colors and character. They are very toxic. And like I said, they lost a lot of subscribers and viewers when it came to the ABBA and Preach situation, because ABBA and Preach were actually on their podcast, but then they had a falling out due to the fact that ABBA and Preach made a reaction video about them. Then they tried to do the same thing, copyright strike and claim them, which is not cool at all. Everybody knows that's one of the most cancerous things you can do, especially in the YouTube community. You can't do that shit. False claiming is a cardinal sin in the YouTube community for a reason, and they try to pull it off and say they had lawyers and shit backing them, telling they can do it. No, they just didn't want their fucking views out there being criticized because they're gonna scared they're gonna lose the fucking bag. And Walter's a weird fuck. Walter's weird. Fresh and fit my ass. That nigga's not fresh. Anybody who's fucking fresh or ever been cool knows that motherfucker's not. Say less. Amen. But that's it for today's video. If you got any feedback for me, let me know. Like, comment, and subscribe. That'll really help me out. I appreciate it, y'all. This has been another one. Say Less FTR. Red Pill. Manosphere, whatever the fuck you want to call it, man. For the real, fuck the rest.